Good morning.
Good morning.
Masechet Choyma b'Kodesh. Okay, Masechet Chagiga Perek Choyma b'Kodesh. That's on Daf Chochom base. A new Perek. So we started the inyanim of the Perek. We started already 2 days ago when we gave quite a large Hakdame on Sunday. We gave Hakdame about the inyanim Tumah v'Ta'areh. And we spoke about the milas of Chachomim who would give to certain things. Twas Yodayim, Ta'aras Yodayim, the Kavonen Tvile, and the third one, what we saw in the previous Mishnah, was Medres, the big day, Amoretz Medres le Pushim, big day, Pushim Medres le Trume, big day Trume, Loich le Trume, Medres Loich le Kodesh, and big day, Kodesh, means Loich le Kodesh is Medres le Chatos. That means that these are milas. We know this as we learned the last few days. We know already there's certain levels. There's kochim, there's trume, there's 2 different levels of kedusha. So there's some things that the kedusha of kodesh, that means kochim. Kochim is someone brings a kol mishlamim, brings a kol mtoida. About zichim loida, he brings a kol mtoida. The meat, what he's eating, who eats the meat? The bailim, right? Not only the bailim, anyone, any Yisrael can eat it. Bechol Yerushalayim, right? That means you have to eat it inside Yerushalayim. That is Psal Kochim. How you behave with Psal Kochim. There is Truma. Truma, who can eat Truma, is only a Kohen. But there's some Chumras that means in Truma more than a Kochim. There's some Chumras, Kochim more than a Truma. And that's our Mishnah. So let's start the Mishnah. Inside the Tirkei Advarim, we will elaborate on Hashem and speak out the Hagdamas. Choymer b'kodesh mi betrume. Kodesh, that means kochim, is more chomer than trume, and the following things. And as we're going to see, what is it? Interesting, in the lashon choymer b'kodesh mi baterume or mi beterume. I don't know nikudas of it, but you don't know. Yeah, probably b'kodesh. There's a Torah Even. Torah Even says, what is the chiluk between la kodesh, la trume, the two? Bakoidish and betruma. What's the difference? You find many times it says le koidish, le truma. It's a very interesting thing, and it might help us. Sure, it helps us. But to Evan says a very klolic thing. It's kidai to know, as maybe as a kedometar perek. He says la koidish always means that we are not done on the koidish itself, on the kochim itself. We are done about the kli, about anything else to use the kochim. Yeah? Anything around the kochim. It's not the kochim itself. La kodesh, using for the kodesh. Ba kodesh means actually we are done. Our discussion is about the kodesh itself. Yeah? So, and it fits very good because if you look at the Sifrei Hamedagdakim, they're very busy with this Mishnah. If the Gilsa, what's the Gilsa now Mishnah? Well, if the Torah Even is very good. The Torah Even says Nochazach. He says that the din of Meichatos and these milas are, because we didn't say Meichatos, are like Kodesh. Because they were Machmir and Meichatos more than Kodesh, as we learned in the previous Perek. But the third, the milas, says the Torah Even, the Torah Even is later on in the Chav Gimel Amud Aleph, that the Maile is not a Meichatos because this Maile can't be, it's because only Masechet, and Masechet was Dafke B'Kodesh and not Meichatos. So, okay, I'm just bringing a thing. Let's see first of all the third Maile, then we can understand why that Maile is Dafke B'Kodesh and not Meichatos. Okay. So let's start with the first Maile. What's the first Maile Kochim more than in Trume? Shemat Bilin Keilim, Mitoch Keilim Litrume, Avaloi La Kodesh. Someone has a Kli Tomei. Keilim Tzmei. When they are inside other kelim, so they're going to help only if you want to eat with the trume. But if I want to eat with these kelim, I want to eat la kodesh. What's la kodesh? Very good. If the klal of the Torah Even. Okay, let's not focus all the time on this klal, but it elaborates a lot of things. This klal, it's a very gishmak klal. Anyway, if I want to eat the trume, as we can see, the reason we can see in the Gemara. That means, let's say I have 2 pots, 2 there, and I'm putting it right inside the basket, all my kelim, and I want to take it with the basket. So I'm dipping the whole thing into the mikveh. So for Truma, it would help. For Kochim, it wouldn't help. It wouldn't help the Kochim. Oh, so okay, Rabbi Liron is asking, so I'm just going to speak out a little bit. There's a machloikes, and the reason of this maile is a machloikes amoyroim in the Gemara. There is a moira who says, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name because I didn't really see it before, but okay, there is a moira who says that it's because the kli hapenimi, what happens? Let's say I'm putting a kli inside the kli. So let's say I have over here the kli, the first kli, and then I'm putting it on. What happens to the shulaim? What happens to the shulaim? Shulei akli. The tachtit, shulaim, how you call it in English? The surface, the base. The base of the outer kli, let's call it the kli achitzoin, is sitting on the top of the lower kli, the kli apenimi, let's call it, yeah? Right? So you have the kli apenimi and the kli achitzoin. The surface between them is mithadek, right? It's actually sitting one on the other one, and the water doesn't come in between. And that's why we're making a Truma. Very good question. But that's why the reason that we're machmir and kochim. Because there is a chashash, because not really, right? The water does go in, but it doesn't go in properly. That's the reason. That's one reason. Another reason is it's a gzeira. What's the gzeira? Gzeira shemo yadbil betoich kli she'ein befiv kishvoiferes hanoid. What that means? We know if you want to be machshir a mikveh, you want to be machshir mikveh. You remember you was once in a mikveh. There's like a hole in the wall because we don't toivel in the make shami. We toivel in nice clean water. Just what? There's oitza. The oitza is a 40 of make shami, and then they do a connection. That's called hashoka. The hashoka has to be how big has to be the whole of the hashoka? Kishvoiferes hanoid. Feres hanoid is shteitz voice choizos. Then we call him on. Yes, feres hanoid. Now, what if, that the kli, you have a kli, and they go, understand, like you have a bottle, or basket, or bottle, and you put inside the bottle, you put over there, let's say, forks and knives and all of these things, and then you toivel it. Now, if the bottle on top is a very, very, very narrow, it's not a shveiferes hanoid, not wide enough, so then it's not kosher to be matbil inside keli because it's not a chibul to the mikveh. It's not connected. I'm toiveling inside a bottle and it's not connected to the mikveh because the hole on top of the bottle is very, very narrow. There's no connection to the water in the mikveh. Or to them, don't be matbil keli or to keli. When? Only la kodesh will machmir this mile, but not letruma. So that's the two reasons. Okay? Okay. So just spoke it out. We should have learned the Gemara, but okay. Yeah. No. Every time we need the shveiferes hanoid. But the chashash, otu, yadbil, befiv, sheim, befiv, shveiferes hanoid, we're choishish only in kochi we did the smile and not in truma.
Keli in the basket should be all right. No, it's one keli in the basket. It's not one keli, other keli.
You're right. Obel, that's a chashash. Don't be mad with keli b'toch keli b'chlal, because you might come and be mad with mitazak kli. What there is no shveiferes hanoid. Okay, Rashi explains actually. If you look over in Rashi, shematbilin kli b'toch kli sheshneim tameim. See Rashi, sheshneim tameim. Now Rashi over here is very interesting. Because Rashi is saying that also the outside kelim are tameim, and you matbil both of them letare. Okay, we can see later on in Daf Chof Beis Amud Aleph, it's a big enough gemina what Rashi says over here. As you can see that it goes to Bach, but we're going to mention it later. Okay, let's go to the second mile. Second mile, we have to speak out a little bit before because this thing. There is tumas miderabonon. Chachamim done a certain gzeira that if you're going to touch the tumah, that's a tumah miderabonon, and a certain part of the kli, because this part of the kli you could use it b'fnei atzmoi. It's a kli that you could use it like this part of the kli you could use separately from the kli, or a certain side of the kli. So it's going to be metame only that side of the kli, or only that tzad, only that chelik of the kli, not the whole kli. That means because it's a tumah miderabonon, let's say I have a kli, and a certain you could use the underneath the kli is also like a small bowl, yeah, like a bottle of wine. Like sometimes, like mamish has a ganze loch. Yeah, a revis. So it's made by when they think the wine, so you put in the finger, crazy. Anyway, so to save money, okay. So when you have over there this let's say, so you could use it. You could use it. So let's say if you touched only over there. So if it's a tumor, if it's tumor the ganze kli becomes tummy, no question. But if it's a tumor Rabbanon said only there is going to become tummy. Only there's going to become tummy. Now this again, we have to say this possibility of tumor in only part of a kli or one side of the kli and not the whole kli could be only in a tumor de Rabbanon, yeah? Not in a tumor de Iraisa, only in a tumor de Rabbanon. In a tumor de Iraisa, noch einmal, the whole kli is one. And the Shtaza sagt, okay, this part of the kli becomes tumor. No, it's a ganze kli. This, huh? Yeah, exactly. It's like a goof. Like also in tumor de Iraisa, you don't say nicht mehr yodo. No. You touch the sheret, you just touch the sheret, the whole ganze kli becomes tumor. The Rabbanon, you touched, or your name become Tome, you touch with one hand, what's about the other hand? We're going to see in the Gemara, there's many other very interesting things we're going to learn. Now, the Gemara explains there's a chiluk between Trume to Kodesh. When we look at the Kodesh, is you're machshiv the whole Kli Tome, and I feel the Rabbanon, yeah, I feel the Trume with the Rabbanon, if the Trume with the Rabbanon touch part of the Kli, but in Trume, we do say the Kli thing. Okay, now let's see the inside. No, the Ikea, the whole thing becomes Tama, yes. Yeah. Achoiraim, that means Achoiraim is the base kibul. It means, like, for example, the Meiri says, you know what's Achoiraim? The Meiri says, when you have a leg of a becha, and some bechas have a leg, or you have a glass cup, like a wine glass cup. So he's called that. That's the Achoiraim. He calls it. V'toich, toich is inside the kli. Ubeis atzvite. What's a beis atzvite? We're going to see in the Gemara. What about them? Each and one of them you could use bifnei atzmoi. So each one of this chelik of the kli has a shimush bifnei atzmoi. So this is a kli bifnei atzmoi letrume. Yeah, letrume. So Achoiraim v'toich beis atzvite betrume. Or lefi the gears of the Torah Yevon is letrume. Yeah, it's very geschmack because if you look at the Achronim thing, it's very, they find it what's bitrum. So letrum, let's be going to be the Torah Yevon. Yeah, the cloud of Torah Yevon, what we said before. And therefore, if the Achoiraim, the Beis HaTzvite, or one of the things became Tomei, B'tumah de Rabbanon, only that will be Tomei. And you can put Tumah, the rest of the parts of the Kli. Avaloi LaKodesh. Because if one of them became Tomei, even a Tumah de Rabbanon, everything became Tomei. And he can't put over there Kodesh, none of the Chalokim of the Kli. And if he put Kodeshim and one of the other Chalokim of the Kli did not become Tumeh, it's also going to become Tomeh or Posi. Let's see Rashi. But Rashi, Avaloi LaKodesh, we go first time. Achoiraim, V'toich, Ubeis HaTzvite. Kli yoroi l'ishtamesh b'toichoi. U'me'achoiro. Ubeis tzvisosoi. Kol tashmish v'tashmish shebo yichoshu Kli b'fnei atzmoi. לעניין תרומה שאם נתמוזה לזה. זה לא נתמוזה. ותומס דרבנו כלומר כנפרש וגמור. ואוי ללא קודש, אם נתמו אחד מהן, כולו יתומה לקודש. And if it became possible tome inside, so the whole thing became tome, right, for outside, or thing. I forget, and this is what Reb Eli said before, and the Meiri said out before, so that legabe, if it became tome inside, the ikar kli, afilu the truma, the whole kli becomes tome, yeah? And they state Legion, Mishnah Masechet Kelim, and actually it's brought down also in our Gemara. From base on base, on our Mishnah, the Gemara brings it down. This Mishnah in Masechet Kelim, Legabe Achoiraim V'toich, the Gemara brings it down that it will be Toichoi, and that's the Gils of Rashi. Psochit Afin Zayin at base. Yeah, okay. What's the pshat in this thing? What's the pshat in this thing? Let's just speak 1 minute. The din, the pshat in this din is as Mina Torah, a kli becomes tumah only from what? You remember the klolim? Let's remember just to refresh our they are good. As Rebelli said, a kli becomes tumah only from av tumah. A rishon tumah could not be metame odom v'kelim. So that means now let's try to understand better the din. The pshat is as though mina Torah, a kli cannot become tome only from a avatuma. But Chachamim said that mashkim tmeim or metame kelim, right? Or mashkim tmeim or metame the kli. Why? Gzeiro mishum mashkin shem avatuma. You remember the Gemara in Shabbos? What says a mashkim and avatuma in the Shtat? Like mashkim avatuma. Even if water touches a mess, the water becomes a rishon. Oichel mashkim always become rishon. There's one thing that mashkim are av. When is that? Roikoi or ma'ayono isazav, as we call it. Roikoi, zivoi, meiraglov, anything. But it's called ma'ayono isazav. It's called. So as we learned yesterday, the woman who came in front of Rabbi Shmuel and she said, Nimo. She touched it to the mouth. Anyway, that is ma'ayono isazav. So the kli, it's a gzeiret miderabonon. A kli could become tomei how? How is it tomei miderabonon? Water, the mashkin that were be'etzem mishum ma'ayonis hazav, they are metame. Chachamim did a hecker for this tumah. That's what they shouldn't. Why? Because if it's tumah derabon, tumah deraisa, it's very important to know what is tumah derabon, what's tumah deraisa. Why? Because let's say I had a tumah derabon, and it touched tumah, The tumah touched tumah. What's going to be the din of the tumah? I have to burn it? No, I can't burn it. Because midiraisa, there's a din of mishmeres. What means mishmeres? I have to guard it. I can't burn it. I have to guard it. It's actually, I can't eat it. It's tamei midirabanan. Midiraisa will be tamei for sure. I would have to burn it. So they shouldn't come to burn it, right? Tumah kochim. So they said if it became nitme wachoiro of the kli or beit tzvitosoy or wherever we see over here mashkim tmeim, it's only going to be tamei that place and not the whole kli. But if the inside of the kli became tomei, so mashkim tmeim, the whole kli becomes tomei. However, we said it only legabe truma, not lakodesh, because they were makel. In that case, only they were machmir and kodesh. They did a separate mile. That's the hecker that if it became the gaboy, only the gaboy is going to become tomei. Only the achoraim. Yes. You're right. If it becomes tomei inside, there's no hecker. I can have a different hecker. You see, many times we do a keirin for it. Okay. Right. The third mile. We have many miles, as we're going to see. Let's go to the third mile. The third mile in Kochim more than a Truma. Hanoise es a medres. Noise es a Truma. That means, let's take for example, as Rashi brings what's noise es a medres. Min al shen zav. You see, Rashi talks about a shoe of a zav. A shoe of a zav. So Rashi says, min al shazav. What means a min al shazav? A shoe of a zav. That means he steps on it. So what din is the min al shazav? It's avatuma. Yeah. So this person is having in one hand, in the right hand he's holding a shoe of a zav. In the left hand he's holding truma. What's going to be the din? He could do it. One hand he's holding a min al shazav. It's avatuma. And the other hand he could hold truma. Oh, why? And it's not going to be Tomei. Why? Because the Truma, what he's holding, he's not mamish holding Truma. What he's holding it, let's see in Rashi. Bechovis. See Rashi? You're not holding let's say, the orange of Truma. The orange of Truma is inside the barrel, inside the jug, inside the basket, wherever it is. And he's holding what he's holding? So he's holding one hand, he's holding a shoe, and the other hand is holding a barrel, and inside the barrel he has the payload of Truma. Bechovis she'einu neigea be'aviro. Yes, the Rashi says over here, Bechovis she'einu neigea be'aviro. Why? Because this noise is not touching the Truma. That's the pshat. Because he's not touching the Truma, that's why it's going to be okay. That's why it's going to be okay.
Does it mean the medress is not in the avir, in the airspace of the chovis? Is that what it means?
So let me explain. If you look at the let's go slowly. If we look at the Hagoy Sabach say, Hagoy Sabach tells us that the chovis can't be as a regular chovis. What type of chovis it has to be? Oh, very good. That's the key over here. The key over here, it has to be chovis achemes. Why? Because if not, Isabelias, Naftalias, they're all asking over here. I'm sure everyone at home is also asking the same question. If he's an avatumah, because he's touching the minol, it becomes the avatumah. So you should be metame the kli, and the kli is going to be metame the The Truma. Oh, the Pshat is Azoi. So let's start with the Meiri. So we saw Rashi, let's go to the Meiri. The Meiri explains because he's not carrying the Truma, he's not touching the Truma. Now, Medres, I'm going to explain. Medres is Avatuma, right? We always know. A person is carrying a Medres, this shoe, he becomes a Rishon, very good. The Kli, what he's carrying, is Mekabel Tuma or not? Oh, a Kli is not Mekabel Tuma Mirishon. Who can be Metame Odom Kelim? Only Avatumem. And the Kli becomes Tome only from Avatumem. The Kli does not become Kum, the Truma that's inside is going to be toil. We don't do a Gzeire. Maybe the Medres that one hand is going to touch the Kli and then he's going to be the Truma Shmetoichoy. That means I'm holding over here the Minol, and on the other hand I have a Chovis. So now definitely the Chovis doesn't become Tome. Why? Because I holding something that I become a Rishon, and this is not become Tome because a Rishon could not become a Kli, and this is a Kli. But what happened? I have to think a little bit ahead. Maybe it will touch, I'm holding it one hand, and this is the left hand. So maybe they will meet one second. And what's going to happen when they meet? Zav, I'm going to be Metame Kli? Yes. So then it's going to be Metame the Kli, and then it's going to be Oiva Avoy. So do we do a Zagzeire or not? Lekabi Tume, macht man nicht a Zagzeire. Koidesh, macht man ja a Zagzeire. That's the Mishnah. That's the Fida Meiri. Okay, and that's very, very poshut. That's very poshut. Now, if we learn Rashi with the Bach, it gets a little bit more complicated because it tells us it's a Klicheres. That means that's right. Rashi explained the Meile is Davke be Klicheres. Why? Because the Klicheres is Metame only me'aviroi. It's not Metame migaboy. That means the Klicheres, if you have a Klicheres and you touch the back of the Klicheres, it don't become Tome only me'aviroi. That means, so the Chiddush is, what's the Chiddush over here? You don't do a Gzeira, maybe it's going to put the medicine into the Avir of the Kli Cheres that's over there in the Tumah. But in the Kli 8, that's Mekabel, Tumah, also Migaboy. So it's going to touch like this. Yes, we are Choshesh. The Masechet, very, very near to each other. So also in Tumah, we will be Choshesh. So that's the Pshat of Rashi. Rashi, you have in one hand the Kli Cheres for Tumah. In the other hand, you have the Avatumah. You have a big chashash that's going to touch each other. If it's a kli cheres that even if it touches from the back, it's not going to become tome. Very gishmak. It's going to go in. Thus, this I don't do a mile tume only in kochim. Yes, Leon. Okay.
No, can we answer the other thing? Sorry.
1 second, Rebelli. Yeah. Yeah, but only the klal of Odom v'Keli receive Tume only from Av, Zalom Mishane, Kotshim, not Kotshim. What we're talking about, Shlishi and Revi and Chamishi, if you have a Kive Meichados, it's only an Eichel Mashkim, it doesn't know an Odom, yeah. Yes. Yes.
What was the case? The other day, didn't we learn? I thought we said that an Avatuma, if somebody touches a certain type of Avatuma, he has the same status and his Avatuma is not Rishon. What case was that? Doesn't Not
it's only if he's also sitting Mishka v'Moshe with the Tame begodim. So it's not the case. It's not the case. We're going to see later on the Gemara what's the case over that. Okay. Okay. Log the Gemara. Okay. Big day. Let's go to the. You ready for the next one? Yeah. Okay, and this is Rashi says, and this is the third one. As we said, this is the third one. So what's the third one? We said that the third one, the Turayevin, you remember what we said in the Agdama to the Mishnah? Turayevin said that the third one is only in the Kodesh and not in Chatos. Chatos not the minor. Why? Because this is Mishum Masechet Shoyo. Masechet Shoyo was that there were there. The Gemara says, let's pick up the Gemara. Gemara said that there was a Masechet Shoyo, that the person had a medres in one hand and a barrel in the other hand. No fala medres and toiche chovis. So they were machmir legabi kodesh and not legabi tumah, because the Masechet Shoyo was like legabi kodesh. Log the freedom to heaven. All the miles that we learn in the Mishnah legabi kodesh will be also legabi Chatos. Alberdos, mechatos. Alberdos wouldn't be because this is nafke Masechet Shoyo. Okay. Says the Mishnah weiter, the fourth mile. What's the fourth mile of Kotshi modern Truma? Big day oichlei Truma medres lakoidesh. So this I don't need even to explain because we all know. We remember from the previous Perek, right? But if someone just joined us today and he was not here yesterday or 2 days ago, so let's explain it again. Big day oichlei Truma. That means the clothes of people that they eat Truma or even they eat chulim betaras Truma. Their clothes is a medras. That means it's going to be a tumas medras. That if someone lies on it, he's going to get keilu becomes tome, right? Even though a medras is not metame, a person this when he lies on it, it becomes tome. It is metame, right? But it's only lakoidesh and not letruma. Okay, now the Mishnah explains us what's the mile of koidesh on truma legabe tvile. Okay, let's go to the fifth one. The fifth one speaks about now legabe tvile. When you toivel it, you retire it, there's also certain miles. Loike midas hakodesh, midas hateruma. That means legabe tvile. Yeah, legabe tvile. So loike midas hakodesh, midas hateruma. And this lefi Rashi pashtes, it goes only on the previous one. It means loike midas hakodesh bechatzitza tvilois of midas hateruma. Yeah, look at Rashi. Let's see it. Why? Shelekodesh, that's the Gils as we learned before. Yeah. Matir, umenaged, umadbil, ואחר כך koisher. Tume, koisher, ואחר כך madbil, ואחר כך madbil. What's the pshat? What's the pshat? Let's find the chilik. The chilik between them is as a person has a beged tummy. And let's say in the beged, kanfe a beged, as of there, kanfe a beged, tzitzis is tangled with each other, yeah? It's there's knotted. There's knots over there. So what he has to do first, if he wants to matbil the beged tomei, matir, undo the knot before you matbil it. Why? Because in the knot, what happens? The water does not come in. And they did a gzeire lakodesh even when the knot is not what we call mehudok. It's not tight. Afilu what's the din? Matir, any type of thing. And then menagev, that means menagev, you dry the beged if it was a bit of not dry, yeah, because the water on it is a little bit like chatzitza. Umadvil, then you toivel the beged. If you want to have this knot, then you could knot it again. That's legabe tume. Or legabe kodesh. But tume, kosher. If you want, you do a knot. You madbil, because as we said, it's talking about kesher mahudok or not kesher mahudok. No, it's not talking about kesher mahudok. It's not talking about a tight knot. So the water good to go through. And that's why you first do the knot and you toivel it. And there's no chashash also when it's moist. You don't have to be menagev, you don't have to dry it out before you toivel it. Why? Because they are not choitzes. When they are not choitzes, and for sure that's a mile dafke legabe trume and not legabe legabe kotsu and not legabe trume. Okay.
Why is the water considered a chatzitza?
It's a mile. It's a mile. You're right. It's not a chatzitza. But if it's a chatzitza, how you matir it in trume exactly?
Exactly.
You know, it's not a chatzitza. But we look at it keilu and why. So then the Foshim explain because we find dam and cholov when they are yovesh they are choitzet. So mainly also when they are lach we are machmir they should be choitzet in kochim. And because we are machmir dam and cholov, so also any davar lach will be choitzet in kochim. So mainly for sure it's not thing. For sure it's not everything. Yeah. Rashi, I look at Rashi. Yeah. Again, it's very very difficult to understand, but. If you look at Rashi, let's see in the Rashi. Umenagev, so Rashi, imlach hu menagev itchilo, v'akachach matbiloi v'chol ze mishum dedome lechatzitza. So Reb Tony framed a very good question. What is the chatzitza? So I'm going to tell you, not the first one to ask it. Aber the Netziv framed us. Netziv has a sefer what's called Meroi Meisode. The sefer Meroi Meisode, as I framed us nicht over here, he's asking it on the Gemara and the Popale from the base. As I framed so he says that Rashi doesn't mean that the water is chatzitza. It's because it could be that there's on the water episode thing dry. And if it's going to be dry, it will be. So okay. Toys explains a little bit differently. Toys explains that if you look at Toys Chofale from base, the first Toys on top, the Kitre. So Toys brings a Yesh Meforshim. Toys brings a Yesh Meforshim. Yesh Meforshim explain that why you have to dry the water that's al gabe hakli, because it says the ma'im shal gabe hakli choizrin umetamin le. Just what? What was that? What was Truma? Because at Truma we had that this is metayar ba'ashokas. I mean, even at the ma'im on this, we came over. I don't care. I don't care. But like this, we are going still. Yeah. Oh, Ben. Oh. So as Rebelli wants to ask, the Gemara Psochim. The Gemara Psochim daf lamed daled damed beit. What does the Gemara? Mei hachag. Remember? Oh, Mei hachag sheyishikon ve'achar kach hekdishon toirin. Sometimes I feel to be magnified. So for sure that Ashoka Mei Chuli for sure will help not to be metam acherim. Tori haven't read wegen them. Tori haven't later on. Okay, later on in the parak. Oh, well, yeah, okay. We're not going to spend the time because wow, it's already late. But yeah, good question, Stevie. But there's a Marsham. There's many Mefoshim who speak about this question. Says the Gemara.
It wasn't my question.
Tony, yeah, sorry. But you also ask good questions. Yeah, Tony has a question. Okay, weiter. Says the Gemara weiter. Now, Kalim, now this one is the sixth. Okay, the sixth mile what we have a Kotzi more than Trume. Kalim hanigmorim betare. Tzrichin tvile la kodesh. That means that's like Kalim, and we talk about the Kalim of a chover. From the Gemar Meloche, that means then they are susceptible, then they are roy to be mekabel tumah. Before they are not a keli, so they can't be mekabel tumah. But from when they turn into a psakli, they can be mekabel tumah. So any keli of a chover that from the Gemar Meloche we say is roy lekabel tumah, and it didn't become tumah. But still, when you want to use this kli now for kochim, there's a chashash maybe before the Gemar Melachtom, what happened? Maybe spat on it, or Amoret spat on it, and Amoret has a din of Zov. And Hoiko Shel Zav, as we said, when it's still moist, you remember yesterday the mice of Ishachas. So Mele, the Roik is still, and Nigma Melato, so I had over here a few planks of wood. But it's been Amoret. And when I spat on it, what happened? Maybe it was hippies, maybe I speak and then spat on it. And when I actually, today in the afternoon, I build it, or before I rebuild it, I made sure to go to the mikveh, to be toy and to be a chover, right? But then when I build it, maybe it's still a little bit wet from the spit. It was metame, the thing. So that chashash, I am choshesh only when I want to do a kli le kodesh, avalo le trumem, not for trumem. The seventh mile. Hakli metzaref mashe betoichoy bekodesh. La kodesh or bekodesh, yeah. Avaloi betrume, that means a kli, let's say I have a tray, and inside the tray I have many pieces of meat. So the kli is mitzvah anything what's over there to do it into one piece. That means if I have over there 5 oranges in a big basket, they're not touching each other. You could mamish each one in a different corner. And one of them became Tomer. Sheretz touched one of the oranges. Each one is separate. Legabe coaching, we look at everything is one. Now, again, I'm just saying it because we will see a machloikis. Rabbi Yochanan of Chanin, if this thing is minatoire, or it's only a mile mider rabono, we're going to see in the Gemara more pirtei potim. Just the Sabbath Soizen, we're bringing the pshat. Over by Trume, if I have a Trume touched one piece of Trume in the Kli, that piece becomes a Rishon, right? The Trume, and the one that's going to touch the orange is going to touch that piece that became a Rishon will become a Sheni. And the Sheni will touch on another orange will become a Shlishi, and the other orange will touch Shlishi will stay tall because Trume is not metame more than Shlishi. Right? That's what Rashi over here. אבל let's see, Rashi akli mitzay ma shebetoicho yoichli ben chaticho yisar bekli echad ונוהגה הטוב באחד מהן הכלי בצרפו ליסקולו חתיכו אחס וניקמס כולו. אבל לא ילתרומה, אלא איסו שנוהגה בו אבי ראשון, ונוהגז בו אבי שניו, ונוהגז בשניו שלישי, והשאר תוירויס. Interesting Rashi over here is goes in to explain the thing. So Ayin Berashash. Maybe after the show we're gonna go into the thing. It's very interesting why. Okay, let's go to the 8th mile. Haravi Bakoidesh. That means the Ravi Letume Tavke Bakoidesh is possible. What means possible, as we always know? Very good. It's not with weiter. Ober Shlishi Le right. The Shlishi is Poisel only. The Tume is only Betrume. So we see there's a mile in Kotshi more than a Trume that is the Ravi. The 9th one. Another Chumra there's a Kotshi Veletrume lefi the gears of the thing or Betrume or Veletrume lefi the gears of the Tueven. Im nitmes achas miyodov chavot otoiro. Aber ba'kodesh matbil shteyen. Why? Shayad tames chaverto lakodesh avaloi letrume. That means azoy. There's a chumra in kochi more than anything. Trume. If one of my hands became trume again, trume midirabonon, as we mentioned before, and yeah, we have to remember this. Trume doiraisi nishtar azach. I touch my finger, sheretz, a dead reptile of one of the shmona shotzim amrim batoiro. If I touch whatever it is, one of the other trume, if it's an avei elashikvas there as returbi based on points avzin and zivon or yoledes zova metzoiro. Any of them will definitely be, even if you touch it, it will be called gufay. Trume derabonon. Let's say a sefer toire, or let's say madel gufay b'mayim shuvi, or let's say one of these things. But it's only look at the Gemara beginning of from Daf Yud Gimel of Beis Ve'ilach and the Gemara in Shabbos, right? About the Shmones Hadavar. If I touch it in one hand, only that hand becomes tummy, not the other hand. But kodesh, even though it's only a Tumah Derabanan, what's going to be the deal? All of it, I'm going to have to be madbil, both of the hands. Because, yeah, not the whole goof. Chatos is the whole goof. May chatos, we learned the previous mission. Yeah, okay. Because the yah is metam mechaver to la kodesh, avalon tumah. So both of the hands are going to be counting. And once the hand touched the yah tumah touched the Torah, it becomes tumah. And even if it didn't touch the Torah, it's going to become tumah, yeah. And the chashash is maybe the Tomei the can touch the Torah the can. Because Mider Rabbanon, if I touch the, let's say, Tumei the Rabbanon, and then I done like this, clap my hands, what's going to be the din? I feel the Tumei, both of them going to be Tomei, because I thought, the same, yeah. Aber the Mider Rabbanon. Aber with the Kodesh, even if I didn't touch the other hand, I made sure that, so it's still going to be Tomei. Yeah, that's the Chiddush. Okay, let's go to another Mile. Number 10. Oichlin neguvin beyodayim esuovis, avaloi bakodesh. What that means? That means azoy. You're allowed to eat oichlin neguvin. Oichlin neguvin means dried food. That means it was never muchshar lekabel tuma l'yedei netzinas mashkim. That's right. Beyodayim esuovis. What means yodayim esuovis? Yodayim that became tome betumas yodayim. That means sheini letuma. That's called Yodayim Mesuavis. Mesuavis means not clean. Not clean means that it's a sheni letumah. Yeah, it's a tumah derabanan. When I am matir to eat even fruit that are not, yeah, only with tumah, because it was never muchshar lekabel tumah, I can eat it. So I have an orange of tumah, he's a kohen, and this was never muchshar lekabel tumah, I can eat it. Afilu with Yodayim Mesuavis. Avaloi bakodesh, I can do an extra mile, even if it never became thing. The Gemara can speak. How can it be kochim that never became wet? What's kochim? Kochim is the psar kochim. It never became a thing. Bikurim. You see in the Gemara. Yeah. Today's daf. Today's daf. It's a short daf. This half format was also short. Oinon umechus kipurim. Tzrichim tvila la kodesh, aval lo ile trume. All that means. Oinon, someone who, as Rashi says, that means he has a mess, but he didn't become yet Tomei. Because if he became Tomei, what's the chiddush? He says mess. He's avatume. He didn't become Tomei. But oinon lo yochalti ve'oini mimenu. Right? The oinon is not allowed to eat kochim min hatoyim mitzad ha'aninus, nafilu balaylo achar. And in Usoy, that means there's also Midarabon is not allowed to eat, right? So Oinon, Umechus Kippurim, Tmeim, the certain Tmeim, or they toivel, and they were Tvulyoim. And then they went through the Arab Shemesh. They still need to be the Korbanos next day. For example, Azov, Azovo, Yoledes, Metzoiro, right? All of them, so the 7th day they were toiveled. the night they call the Arav Shemesh, but they are still Mechus Kippur because the next day they have to be Korbanos. As long as they didn't be Korbanos, it's called Mechus Kippurim. So they're not allowed to eat Kochim till they be the Kapora. So what about these people? The Oinon after the Aninus, in Mechus Kippurim after you bought the Kapora, do you need an extra Tvila or not? They were toiling before. Because till now they were Asu, Chachamim told them, now you need a Tvila. What's a Tvila? You're not Tomei, you're Torah Legamre. Yesterday, you were the 7th day of the Ziva. You were Torah, you Toivel, you wait for Arav Shemesh, you Torah Legamre. Now, I been Korban after Toivel, what? The Korban was Metame? No, Pshat is because I had the Hesach Das. Because I was Hesach Das, I have to Toivel. But Trume, you don't need the thing, even at also Trume. Yes, you're in a matter, you can go you have the thing. Says Rashi, Oina Shalot Mito Yisrael, V'Mechus Kippur Yegol Yisrael, V'Shetov Al Yom Shvi L'Sfiras, בערב שמשוי, למוחרת סוכות מחוץ לכיפורים שעדיין גמר עוד הארוז התלו בקורבנות, צריך לתפילה לאחר שהיא בקורבונים רוצה לאכול קודש. גמר מפרש, שתיים. Yeah, but only לגבי עשר הדס of קודשים we were, he's going to have to tell you. Yeah. If he had עשר הדס. Because he was in a matter that he couldn't eat. So that's called עשר הדס. Sag die Mishnah. Sorry, Sag the Gemara. We learned in the Mishnah. What do we learn in the Mishnah? The first thing of the Mishnah was matpiling kelim b'derech kelim. So then we do dafke letruma v'lo lekodesh, right? We do dafke lekodesh. Says the Gemara, b'kodesh ma'itay belo. Why we're not matpil kli b'derech kli in kochim? Omar av ilem mipnei shekveidoi shel kli choitzes. That means the kli apenimi is choitzes. The kveido, as we said, right? We had over here 2 kelim. This is one kli, and this is another kli. So the koived is choitzes in between the surfaces. The weight, one on top of the other one, so the water doesn't go in. As we explained in the Mishnah. So the gabe koidesh we are machmir to be chashash that the kveidesh kli apenimi is not gonna come and prevents the water coming in between the 2 kelim. As the tefillah is not gonna help the kli apenimi and also not the chitzon if the chitzon was also tome. Yeah, if the chitzon was also tome. Okay. Says the Gemara. There is a very interesting Torah and Chofal, I think. Torah says that the whole ikar din of our Mishnah is only by kelim kveidim, heavy kelim. Yeah, it's a very difficult one to understand. Okay, but let's leave it for now. Huh? Oh, and that's exactly. So one mazashir shekli kavet shelot saf. Very good. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, it depends on the water, depends on them. There's so many things that it depends on, so it's a little bit difficult to get it. Okay. Find the Gemara. The Sefer, the 5th mile. You remember what was the 5th mile of the Mishnah? Was Mishum Chatzitze, right? So what's mashma that the Reisha la Mishum Chatzitze? Because if you're going to tell me that both of them are Mishum Chatzitze, and the Mishnah teaches Legabi Kodesh, anything what is Chatzitze passes, and then Trume doesn't pass, so why the Mishnah repeats it again? Right? What we learned in the Sefer? What was the 5th mile? The Ktane Sefer, Veloike Midas HaKodesh Midas Trume. Sheba Kodesh, Matir, or Mangiv, or Madbil, V'chakach Kodesh. With Trume, Kodesh, V'chakach Madbil. Yeah, you remember this deal? What we read in the Mishnah? We spent a bit of time in the Mishnah. It should go fast in the Gemara, but yes, so let me know if you didn't understand. So what we learned at the beginning of the Mishnah? Because Chatzitza, as Ravila says. What was the 5th mile what we learned in the Mishnah? It's also Chatzitza. So what you just tell me, we're Machmir and Chatzitza. Okay, there's more than a Tumah, that's it. Yeah, Domile Chatzitza. So we're Machmir. It's also, Domile, the water is only Chatzitza. It's not Mehudak. We said it's not Mehudak. The nut is not Mehudak. If it's Mehudak for Shos of a Tumah, it's not going to be good. Yeah, it's only Domile. And for the Gemara, Reisha v'Sefer Mishum Chatzitza, both of them Chatzitza. Utzrichen. We need our Mishnah that teaches the Dine Chatzitza in both cases, also the 1st mile and also the 5th mile. Why? He asked me in Reisha. If you would tell me only the Dine of the Reisha that like Kodesh, you don't want to be like Kli. That's what I would say. Yeah, that's the Reisha. Just to read. Yeah, the Reisha is the that means I would think, you know why Kodesh? You can't be mad kli because that means there is a kovet in the inside kli that pushes it right to the And that's why there's a place to be machmir and chatzitza, because it's sitting one on top of the other one. What's the Aval Seife? Let's continue. Aval Seife. The leke kvedo shel kli. It's only a knot, and as we said, the knot is not mehudek. I mean, it's not tight. Maybe I feel for kodesh is not going to be, and that's why the Mishnah teaches that the mile that the filo a kesher or not is choitz the tefillah la kodesh. So tell me only the seife. If I know in the seife that I feel not a real knot is chatzitze, so for sure kvedo shel kli that's much more of a chatzitze is going to be a chatzitze. Says the Gemara. Let's the Gemara answers it. And if I can tell me only the case of the seife that the kesher is choitz la kodesh. So the Gemara, I can tell you what's the reason. The lakoides slow you. You know why the lakoides you're not mad mila beggar that has in it or not? You know why? Mishum the kitre pemaye haduke mihadak, or the gills of the baches the kitre without memaye. The kitre haduke mihadak. That means that it is talking about a kesher that's knotted, and it's much more of a chatzitza than a kli al gabe kli. Avol reisha, the reisha, when he's mad bil kli betor kli, the maye akfu makpule lemone. The water is, Rabbi Liron said just a minute ago, what happens to the water? What is the kli? The kli is always floating on the water, right? Makpu, akpuye makpu, like, right? It's floating, right? Kopo Narge. Remember the Targum of Kopo Narge? Yeah. By Elisha. We had it. You remember when we had it? Rashi, I can remember at least 3-4 times now. Elisha, when they threw over there the galzan, the axe into the water. Oh, so what the Targum of Vayotzuf? Kopo. Anyway, so Akput, what happens? It floats, right? It floats. So if it floats, there's maybe lo have a chatzitze. That's why our Mishnah needs to teach us that also we are choishes bekodesh lechatzitze, and we have two separate chatzitzes. We have a chatzitze of a knot, and we have a chatzitze of kli al gabe kli. Look, Rashi. Shekveido the Rashi in the Mishnah. Shekveido shekli choitzet. Kveido shekli apnimi amach vidal achitze shu munach betoich choitzet b'nei hamayim. Veitvilo oile lo yitze velo oile zeu lekamon porich yoche afilu trumename. Right, as we saw, what me the safe the mile achid the choshi the safe the time mishum chatzitze, reishelam mishum chatzitze, Yes, not chatzitze. Why? The eat time in the tavayim mishum chatzitze, or lashmoina the gabe kodesh culture the dome le chatzitze poisel boy betrume lo yipostlo. Hello, chatzitze gmur the rice and listen for the rice and listen for the minay. So it's not one of the why need both. He said because adu kemiada gekori who leo is choitzet, I could make milemane but tifo is makvir is so. They say Dafka when it's in mind, then it's going to be.
I don't understand about 12.
When the.
In the inside of the work, get water the outside as well, make it not like. Yeah.
So it's going to be the same thing. For the water, yeah. Depends also basically. Okay, I just very quickly. There's a Mishnah Mikvos. The Mishnah Mikvos, we all remember this Mishnah because some learn it in Mishmach, I think, something. Auf jeden Perek Zayin. Perek Zayin. What's Perek Zayin Mishnah Zayin gedenkt? Sehr gut. Gleo Neugus B'mayim Igdim. Right? It came earlier, so then what's going to be the din? It'll be okay. So by a kli lechoire, when you have first you have the water, and then you have the things. That's always going to be okay. What you just said. What's the last one of the Mishnah? I can't remember the last one of the Mishnah. The Mishnah is Hid Bilbo Estamito. Afal pi sheragleo shoikis betit toiro. Why? Mipnei shamai mekadmin. Right? So because the water became, that's also the kli. Also, when you go to do tefillah scaling. Exactly. You're holding the kli very tight. It's very expensive. You don't want it to fall in the mikveh. It's chatzitza. Your hand. So what's the trick? You put your hand inside before and the water. And once it's water, it's not going to bling. If you have first the water, so it should be okay. So you have to say it's talking about without water. If you talk about the cases with water, it's going to be okay also by a kli b'tachli. Huh? No, so I'm saying it has to be over here. It will be asser to toivel a kli b'tachli. It's dafki when the kli, panimi and the chitzoy, what we call the two kelim, or before they went into the water, they both of them together. Because if you put in one and then you put the next one, shouldn't be any problems. It has to be talking about over here without the water. So the same like you're talking kli without the water. So maybe you learned that also the kesher is talking about without the water. I'm just giving an assumption. I don't know. But maybe just as a tenet, obviously to find. Okay, but let's continue weiter. Says the Gemara. Rabile letami. That means Rabile who explained the reason of the ratio of the Mishnah that you're not madbil by kodesh kli because chatzitze. This goes letame. That means l'shitosri. But he said how many miles we have in our Mishnah. So when we counted, we went through. We had 10 miles, right? 10 miles. Obel, we have 11 miles. That's right. Rav Ila says we have 10 miles. That's right. Rav Ila says we have only 10 miles in our Mishnah. And if we're going to count also the mile of what? Of Kesher, we're going to have how much? 11 miles. So the Rav Ila, the mile, the first mile, Chatitze, you don't count it as a separate mile, to the fifth mile of Chatitze, because it's stuck in 1 mile. Where do we see it? Let's see the inside. Okay, I just spoke it up. Let's see the inside. Omar Rabile, Omar Abchanine, Mar Pope. Eser Ma'alois Shanu Kan. And now Mishnah chutz in the first mile. And they are different. Legabe Chulin, Tarsa Kodesh, the din of Kodesh or not, and that's the thing. That means what we're talking about now, the Ile, Omar Rabile, Omar Abchanine, Mar Pope, Eser Ma'alois Shanu Kan, that they learned 10 miles, chutz in the first mile. And what's the difference? Legabe Chulin Shenasu al Tarsa Kodesh. Now, yesterday we spoke a little bit. If Chulin Shenasu al Tarsa Kodesh is like Kodesh or not Kodesh, that means that's like, yeah? Chomesh Rishonos, what's the thing? What's the Chomesh Rishonos? Let's remember. You can remember the Chomesh Rishonos without looking inside. First one, that's what we said. Chut in the first one, yeah? Chut in the first one. So, Achoyraim v'toichu b'satzvite is a kli. Legabi tume de Rabbanon, yes, it's one kli. Legabi tume de Rabbanon. Second one, I know he says Samedres, and on the other hand, he's holding the Kodesh. The minor, we're looking at the Chumah, yeah? He's carrying the Tumas, no, or if he's carrying the Kodesh, there will be Tomei. The third one, big day, Oichle, Trume, Medres, Kodesh. That's what we learned in the previous Mishnah already. And then we said the fourth one, well, that's the fifth one we're talking about the whole time. Matir, Umenagev, Umadbil, and Achakach, Koisher, and Bichlal them, we say that in Madbil Bikli Lekli. And then what's the fifth one? Kelim Anigmo Betare, Tzrichit Tvile. Why? Because with the Chashash, Hiti is Roik Mipiv, and it was there, and it didn't dry out, So these 5 miles, says the Gemara over there, says the Braise, Bei, let's go look back into the Braise, Bei La Kodesh, Bei La Chulin, Shenasu Al Taras HaKodesh. So Psai La Kodesh, Psai Chulin, Shenasu Al Taras HaKodesh, right? They also have these miles. Now, we learned yesterday, if you remember, the Chofam Medalef we learned. So, if you remember, Rav Mori proved in the Mishnah, in the previous Perek, that Chulin Shenasu Al Taras HaKodesh, Ke Kodesh Dohu. What do we learn that out from? Where was the Raya? This was the Naftali brought the Raya. The Gemara said, oh, very good. Mishpachto Yishe Rav Yechonon Be'kudik Hazeh, Shoyoicher Chulin Beta'aras HaKodesh, Oiso, Medros Lechatos. And the Gemara is Medayek. Chatos in. Smash bad after Chatos was a medress. But Stam Kodesh is not a medress. So what do we see? That the Tane, the Mishnah, the Chulin Shenas V'Ataras HaKodesh, the Kodesh, Domu. So we have to understand that what's the pshat over here, because in our Braise, in our Mishnah is mashma nishtazei. So there's a big Turayim, and the Turayim is included the Sachon. Okay, let's maybe in 5 minutes. Let's see weiter. Says the Gemara weiter. What about achroinos? What's the chomesh achroinos? Chomesh achroinos is kli metzar mashe v'toichoi revile tumes posul nit me'achas hayodayim mat bileshteyem the Israchila yodayim neguvim, right? Yodayim oichlim neguvim beyodayim mesuavos. So we're machmir in kodesh more than a trume, and the last one is oinon machus kippurim. They need to have tefillah to that desach hadas. So they are la kodesh, but lo lechulish adas otas kodesh. And we have to understand what's the difference. What we learned yesterday. Yesterday we are said, okay, so that's the Torah over here. Says the Gemara, my time. Why we say that the 5 first milers and the 5 last milers are different? That means legabe hu, legabe chulin shenas otas kodesh. Let's explain again. Let's say we are eating only chulin betar. And which tar? Tar HaKodesh. Why? Because we live next to Beis Hamikdash. We like to eat Kol Toida. Anyone, our boats, people are bringing every day Kol Toida. Kol Toida you have to eat B'yom V'layla, and Kol Toida cooked with Arboim Chales. There's, man, a lot of food, and that's the reason, says the Netziva. You bring a lot of food for Toida because you want everyone to join, and everyone should hear, and everyone should hear the Nisim. You bring the korbanos, you make a big suda, hundreds of people, that everyone has to finish it in one day. It has to go today. All the meat and all the breads and everything has to be eaten today. It's hundreds of kilos. Everything has to be eaten. So you invite hundreds of people, and then you give the drosh, and you say, why I bought a Kom Toida? Because of Rabbeinu Shloim. So we invited every day to a party of Kom Toida. We have to eat kochim. So we make sure that everything what we eat, to be murgal, to be used to it, everything what you eat, you keep the kochim. That's chulin shenas otas kodesh. What din has his behavior has to be mamish like kochim or not. So his chulin, what I hold in one hand medres, and in one hand I'm holding this chulin. What I behaved it like kochim. Do we say also the mila or not? I had the esech hadas. I was the oinon mechus kippurim, and now I want to eat not kochim. I want to eat chulin, but I behaved it like kochim. Do I need a tefillah or not? So the first miles, I do give it this chulin because I behaved it like kochim. The last 5 miles, not. What's the difference? Let's see the Gemara. Chomesh kamaise, the 5 first ones, the isu drore, the tume doi raise, gozu rabonon bein le kodesh, bein le chulin shenas otas kodesh. Over the 5 last ones, that's what Basraise, the les lo drore, the tume, midoi raise, gozu rabonon le kodesh, over le chulin shenas otas kodesh, loi gozu beu rabonon. I mean, that's all. In the first 5, okay, so we're going to stop over here. I'm just going to explain it, and we're going to stop over here. Because we did the rubric kula of the daf. In this, let's explain this. The 5 first milers, chutz in the first one. Chutz in the first one, what it's included in the 5th one, yeah? There's a chashash to medoi raise. And let's go through each and one of them. And we spend a bit of time because we finished the shir of it. If anyone has to go, you could just, you understood it fast. Let's go now, each one of them. What is it? The second miler, the first miler and the 5th miler, we're going to see Val. But let's go to the second miler. What was the second miler? And this is what Rashi explains of it. Rashi also goes Baricha, so we're going to go to Rashi. And we still have to go through the Toises, the Baraschil Oinon. Let's not forget. Oh, well, okay. The second miler of Achoraim, Toich, Beis HaTzvita, there are 1 kli legabe kodesh, yeah? Achoraim, Toich, Beis HaTzvita, there are 1 kli legabe kodesh. Derech klal, we look at it is separate kli legabe truma legabe kodesh. So Rashi explains it. Even though that the discussion of it, the nidon over here is not talking about tumas kli for mashkim tmeim, right? That they're metamem only midirabonon because they were maker legabe truma, they were not maker legabe kodesh, right? As we said in the Mishnah, right? We spoke out in the Mishnah, we spoke it out that it's only legabe truma derabon. Truma deiraisa for sure that need more part, the whole thing becomes truma. It's talking about a kli that became truma midirabonon. How could a kli become truma midirabonon? Goes well. Mashkim tmeim is tchilo. That means a person that had mashkim. The mashkim became tummy, and the mashkim that means I had water, I had orange juice. I don't know orange juice not, but let's say I had milk. Yeah, and the milk, what I was drinking, let's say, pellet over there, even a biscuit that was a rishon. So the milk becomes sheni. This milk, the cup, if it's spritzed on the cup or something, the cup becomes a rishon. How? It's a sheni. Because goes al mashkin, goes al mashkin, the mashkin keilu have a din of a av. Yeah, the mitame kli. Why? Because we have one liquid that is avatuma. What is it? Mayonis. Very good. Mayonis. And that's a din, a separate din, but we learned already in the Gemara and Shabbos. Oh, because the reason of tumas mashkim is because gzeire, because mashkim shazav is over, that they are tmei midoi raise. So, what is the mekol of the gzeire? Very good. That means a dror doi raise. Very good. Let's go to the third mile. Third mile was anoises a medres, ein anoises a kodesh. Why? Because the reason of the tumah is because Masechet show you, as we can see, Masechet show you a person was walking with a shoe of a medres, and the other hand he had over there a basket, a barrel, a cask with tumah inside, and it fell in. So what fell in, what's going to be the din? It's metamid derabbanan doiraisa. When a shoe of a medres, of a zov, fell and touched tumah, it become tomeh midoiraisa. So it's a drole doiraisa, the chashash doiraisa. Let's go to the next mile. The fourth mile. What was the first mile? Big de oichle tumeh or medres le the medres. Big de oichle tumeh. Why? Because what's the reason of tumeh? Because the chashash shemo yoshva alein ishtoi nido. That's the chashash. You see, that's the choices that's when. So lechoire, nido is tameh midoiraisa or midorabonon. Tameh midoiraisa. The fifth mile. What's the fifth and the first mile? Chatzitze. The dine chatzitze is midoiraisa, right? Chatzitzin. And Hilchas in the Gemara and the Sukkah is Allah Mishkinet be able to do. Now, that's the first and the fifth. Now we need another one, the first one. Keli manigmori betare. They need to have the tvila. Why? Because the Easter is because maybe the spit of the Amoritz fell on it before it was a kli, and then when it turned into a kli, what happened? It was still wet. It was still moist. It was still. It didn't dry out. Now, if you have a roik of Amoritz, it's because tumazav. That the zav is metame midoiraisa or midorabonon. Midoiraisa. So that's in midoiraisa. Now let's go to the 5 last ones. There's no chashash to midoiraisa. Why? What was the 5 last ones? So let's look at the 7th one. What was the 7th one? Akli mitzaref mashe betoichlei. Why? Because mi alten azoi vi Rav Yochanan. Okay, now this is a little bit tricky because this over here there's a toisves. We're going to mention toisves. But let's go first. What's mashma from Rashi? The Meiri definitely learns Azoi in Rashi. Aklish is mitzaref mashe betoichlei because the rat azoi Rav Yochanan. Rav Yochanan in Psoch in Daf Lametes Medalef. What the tziruf is the ganze din of tziruf is the rabbanon. The ganze din of tziruf is the rabbanon. The mile, the 8th mile is revi letume. So lefi Rashi revi letume is only with the rabbanon, and the pashtus is because the whole tume is the rabbanon. So there's no chashash, the iraisa. The way Rashi proves the shit that revi bakoidesh is only at the rabbanon. That means that's Rashi's shita. Rashi's shita is that the Ravi, what we say Bakoidesh Ravi, is no the Rabbonon. The proof of Rashi is from over here. Because Ravi Bakoidesh in the Gemara brings that there's no dror at the Iraise. Very good thing. What about Toises? Toises Altoch has a Iraise. What's the Pshat in Toises? So let's finish the Pshat and then we're going to go to the Toises. Because this is as we promised. The 9th mile. The 9th mile is Nik Mesachas Minayodayim Mat Pileshteyen. Why? Because each one of the what is Tumas Yodayim? What is Tumas Yodayim? The Rabbanon. So if one of the hands became Tomei because I touched the Sefer Torah, for example, Kisvei HaKodesh, so the other hand became Tomei. The ganze Zach is doch the Rabbanon, no Drore. And the 10th one is Oichlin Neguvim Yodayim Mesuavois. Again, Yodayim Mesuavois. What's the tomb of Yodayim Mesuavois? Tumah the Rabbanon. Tumas Yodayim is only a Tumah the Rabbanon. The 11th one, Oinon, Mechusha Kippuri, that need Tvile, the Ikar Tvile is only with the Rabbanon, because Hesach Hadas, that needs to have a Tvile, is the Rabbanon. So very Gishmak. The first 5 have it. The last 5 don't have it. We managed to finish in Kimadada. I see you were looking as though. Okay, now let's go to Toises. So we mentioned a very, very, very Sodidika Machloikas between Rashi and Toises about the Ravi. A Ravi is the Rabbanon Bechlal, Ravi Bakoidesh. What we learned, the Ravi Bakoidesh. Is it the Rabbanon or is it the Doiraisa? So how Tosis is understand? Tosis fragt what we learned that there's no Revi Bakoidesh, and the same thing is also legabe tzir of kli, as we just mentioned. So there's no tzir of kli, there's no tzad tume mina Torah. Fragt Tosis Revi Bakoidesh first of all is midoi raise, and also din tzir of kli is midoi raise. And we learned past. Lefi Rashi we learned that mila b'mila from Rashi, but based on Rashi is a little bit elaborated. But that's Shitas Rashi. But Tosis fragt zwei shayles. First of all, fragt Tosis Revi Bakoidesh is and also the din of tzir is also midoi raise. And why? Because there is a Gemara later on in Dalet Naftaf or Dalet Omed called Rabbi Baravur. Rabbi Baravur learns himself, and also later on, and we can see it tomorrow, Daf of base, that the 5 miles are not Lo'ich Lichulim. The 5 miles. That means B'taras HaKodesh, yeah, for sure not Lo'ich Lichulim. So you got Lo'ich Lichulim B'taras HaKodesh. Why? Because they don't have a draw of Tumeh. That's what the Gemara says. They don't have a draw of Tumeh Doiraisa. Right? That's what we see. Why the 5? But Tosis explains why. Tosis explains why. Because they are not shy these dinim by chulin. By chulin, they're not shy, right? The mele, the tane is not machshiv with the draw of the tumah. That means the shaykhs of tumah has to be something that is shaykh. Now, be'emes chulin, you look at it, yeah? You look at it, ke'ilu, it's tarasak kodesh. So it's like a doima the doima already. I made it that way we are done, we are not going so. And this is a toises later on, toises in the left of Dalet or Dalet. There is also a toises, Minay Revi Bakodesh apostle, yeah? And there's a toises in Psochim Daf Yutes Omed Aleph. There's a toises in Chulin Daf Lamed Hei Omed Aleph. Many toises in about this. And as we're going to see in Hashem when we get that. Okay. Now, yeah. Any questions? Okay. Let's speak about a little bit what we said before, and we spoke about it before in the Mishnah a little bit, but as we said, yeah, that's all. We said Toisves, right? We spoke about Toisves over here in Diba Maskal Oino. We have a pair of a large Toisves. Just mention one Nekuda from Toisves, because I often have to go today. The Toisves Oktazoi. Toisves says over here, so the Mishnah says, let's start with the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Oinon. So Rashi says, Sholeinit Mo B'Meisoi. So Oinon B'Chus Kippurim. Right? Now, Rashi in Psochim Daf Tzadik Omed base, the end of Omed base, says Rashi, Oinon, what's Oinon? Shemeisoi Muta Lefono, Keda Amrina Bezvochim Tzadik Tes, Eiz Oinon, Kol Zman Shelo Nikbar. I don't know Rashi. That's what Rashi says in Psochim. The Rambam, the Pirush HaMishnayos of them Psochim, it's Perek Ches Mishnah Vov. The Rambam also says, "Ve'odom shemesloi echon mikroivov, shechayav leisab el olov yoyim amisa nikro oinon." It's called the oinon. And what's the oinon? Aninus is doiraisa. Yoyim amisa is aninus doiraisa. Bechol zman she'ames al pnei ha'adomo rotzo lo yimar shelo nikvar adayin nikro oinon. וכמו כן, יום הקבורה אוינון, אבל מדרבנן. Means Yom HaKvura is Oinon D'Rabbanan, Yom HaMisa is Mid'Oraisa. And the Bartanura says, only one of the Shiva Kroivim is called the Oinon, v'chulei. Now, the Rambam, who passing that Tefillah is Min HaTorah, because it says, U'lo avdu b'chol levavchem. Why you don't need Tashlum legabe Tefillah? Min HaTorah is like a Chagiga, and Chagiga you need Tashlumin. So that's one child. But let's focus on Toisves. So Toisves over here, Dibra Maskel Oinon, Toisves says over here, in the middle of the Toisves says, then he says Toisves Shloimar, Toisves, the Le'erev, the Nokat, Mayre, yes, we mentioned from the Sochet Tzadik test, that says Toisves Shloimar, the Le'erev, the Nokat, what means the Le'erev? שאינו ימד השום בשעה הקרובה, אלא סוימכס לו על חזקס בזדין, או יחלס לערב. וחזוקה אין בזדין מסעצלין. כושל, לאחר חצור, תשתרה, שכי מוצינו גבי אוימר, רחויקים בחצוי זוהי לך מותורים, לפי שאין בזים מסצחים. ויש לחלק, זה also בקורבן ציבור, ממאיר תפי לאסיס, אז חצויס, אבל קורבן יוחם מסען כל היום, אבל תפי לא יהיו. What does Tosis over here? Tosis over here is a very interesting point, what Tosis says over here. That when we're talking about, Tosis says over here, there's a difference between the Mizazoy. When we spoke about over here, Lefi Rashi, so Lefi Rashi, in Chagiga becomes Tomed the day, in his Tashlumin, Tefillah, as we said, it's only with the Rabbanon, you don't need Tashlumin, Lefi the Rambam, that Tefillah Tak has a bit of a shaila. When we say the Oinon Le'erev, it's not talking about the Vayeh B'Shas HaKroveh, just what? It relies on Bezdin. And Be'erev we could eat because en Bezdin Misatzlim. After Chatzois, you makriv the Oimer, right? You rely on Bezdin, it's mutar because en Bezdin Misatzlim. Says, there's a difference in Korban Tzivur, that you do it Bezdin or no Misatzel, or Korban Yochin, could be that Misanin Kol Hayoim, more than that not. Now, it's a big chiluk, and Tosis brings away Hashem Ri, to be mechalek. What to be mechalek? Chidush. The psul hesach hadas and tumas is only if beyodoi not to be Mesiach das, and he was Mesiach das. But then the Metzia that he can't be Mesiach das. For example, yeah, it's not beyodoi not to be Mesiach das. For example, a korban that got lost, there's no psul of hesach hadas. Tosis. Yeah, Tosis brings the same a big chiddush that, and he brings a guy, baby Rabbi Chonon, Saad tomorrow. You know, let's see it inside. The Tira Tzari, you have it. It's like 6 lines, 7 lines from the end of Tosis. The Tira Tzari, the end of Tosis. The Tira Tzari. The Loishayach Esach Hadas Lifsoil Rak Dum Yedocham. Sheoyu beyodoi v'asach da'atei. Amen. Aval eicha she'ein beyodoi kigoi she'ovad lo yishayach also melech hadas liposel. The Tosis says a chidush that the psul of esach hadas and tumas is only beyodoi not to be Mesiach das, and he was Mesiach das. When the Metzia that you can't, it's not beyodoi not to be Mesiach das. For example, says Tosis that korban that got lost, it doesn't poison besach hadas, and he brings a raya from Rabbi Elchanan. The Ramban. In the Ritva, at the beginning of Chulin, they say a chiddush that in Kochim, Sofek Tume, also B'Shus Harabim is Tome. So there is a big shaila. There is a big shaila. Lefi the Ramban and the Ritva, lefi the Rabbeinu Elchanan over here. What's the Geder V'Sach Hadas? The Geder V'Sach Hadas is not shaykh only when it's beyond to be Mesiach Das. But if it got lost, it's not shaykh of Psul V'Sach Hadas. Everywhere that we have a suffix to B'Shus Harabim, we're metayer also to and also Kotzim is talking about in a case that we don't have a psul of Esach Hadas. What that means? Because there is many shilas what we have in this Ramban and Ritva. Because if you Ramban and Ritva, come to that there is no suffix, right, of Tumah B'Shus Harabim, suffix Tumah, something that Ein Boi Das Lishoel, Tumah, Kotzim. And this is mefurish in the Gemara, Pesachah Yutes, for example, Chuli Daf Tes. Many places that Trumei Kotzim also is not beside Sofek Tumah B'Shus Harabim, and we say it's also Torah. But if the Torah over here, we could say very pashat that this was in a case that we don't have a psul of Esach Hadas. So the Migdash David fragt of Tosis Azoi. Because Esach Hadas passes the Chashash Tumah. So why do I care if it's yeah Masechet das or no Masechet das? Maz mishaneh. So he says that Esach Hadas is not worse than Be'etzem or Mamish Tumah. And when we find, for example, a saki, or we find a piece of meat in the Azorah, and we don't have to suffer if it's Tumah or not, that's Ein Boi Das Lishoel, and that's why it's going to be Sveikoi Torah. If someone is holding in his hand a Sofek Tumah, what comes be the Yodam, so then that Sveikoi is going to be Tommy. Now, there is some terutzim, like for example, the Achiezer says that Rabbi Elchanan over here, the Gabe Esach Hadas, Rabbi Elchanan goes l'shitosai. There is a Tosis in Yuma. Tosis in Yuma, Daf Ches Amud Aleph, says the Gabe, the Gemara says over there, you're not allowed to sleep with tefillin. Why? Gzeir Hashem o yofiach b'hem. Fragt Toisves, Teipuk le mishum Mesech Hadas. Teipuk le mishum Mesech Hadas. They fragt Toisves. The Gemara says in Yume, you're not allowed to sleep with tefillin. Why? Gzeir Hashem o yofiach. Fragt Toisves, why you need a reason of Esech Hadas? Sorry, why you need a reason Gzeir Hashem o yofiach? But you say the reason of Esech Hadas. Says the Toisves Ateret, B'Shem Rabbeinu Elchonon, Elchonon. Taimer Esech Hadas lo yishayach elo kshehu niyoir. Was? Sosam veloy pirish. Sosam veloy pirish. Aber lefi the Rebbe Elchonon over here. Very good. The Rebbe Elchonon goes over here lefitosoi. Because when he's sleeping, it's not beyodoi not to be Mesiach Das. And that's why it's not possible. The Rambam of the Toishes over here brings the Rabbeinu Elchonon at what? What's the gather of Esech Hadas? Let's go back to the Toishes. Let's forget what we spoke about. It was a little bit more complicated. But what the Toishes brings over here? Toishes brings over here B'Shem Dari a big chidush and the Rai from Rebbe Elchonon Alta Zayechet. The Rebbe Elchonon Rabbeinu Elchonon Toishes. And the psul of Esech Hadas and Tuma is only if it's beyodoi not to be Mesiach Das. And he was yes Mesiach Das. But if you have a Metzias, for example, a Koma got lost, and it's not beyodoi not to be Mesiach Das, so there's no psul of Esech Hadas. In Eile, Toises and the human. Dafches Amedalef says that you're not allowed to sleep in tefillin for Toises. Why? The Gemara says because the Hashem Yofiach. They proclaim Yishum Esech Hadas. Says Rebbe Elchonon and Toises. Time in Esech Hadas lo shayach elo kshuv niyo. What's the pshat? Very good. Lefi the Rebbe Elchonon over here, because when he's sleeping, it's not beyond not to be Mesiach Hadas, and that's why it doesn't pass. Add the Achiezer and Simen Aleph. Chaim Oizer, Rebbe Elchonon, they only lefi the Mandoma that Esech Hadas is possible. The Tume. Lefi the Mandoma, Esech Hadas is a psul aguf. Yeah, we're going back to Psoch in Daf Lamedalet. The Machloikis of Esech Hadas is a psul tume, or is it a psul aguf? It's a psul tume. So the Metzias of Esech Hadas is poisel even when it was not beyodai. If it's a psul aguf, but this is a psul. You remember the Gemara Psochim? Gemara Psochim Daf Lamedalet. Gemara has a hakir. What is Esech Hadas? It's a psul aguf. Means the thing be'etzem becomes tume, or only a psul tume. So it says the Achiezer adds to this that the Rebbe Elchonon over here that Esech Hadas is only a psul tume. If it's a psul aguf, for sure, even if it's not beyodai, we still could pass the mitzad Esech Hadas. Yeah. And with this, we find for the andere Shailes. No, the Rav Tzvi Hirsch-Farber, I think, in the Kerem Atzi, he says, interessant the Shaile. How the Chashmonaim lived with the Shem that they found? Choyre became possible with Esech Hadas. Oh, very good. Lefi the Rebbe Elchonon, very good. It was not beyodai. So there's many nice terutzim, but they use this Rebbe Elchonon over here in Toises. But big Yisraelis in Toises. Oh, I'm going to have to go. But I go to Shakoyach and have a nice day. Sure.